going back to 1964 with Roy Orbison with Oh Pretty Woman. Happy guy, sad love life. The world is a much sadder place not having him around. Going on to another lovely girl. Here's Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison. And we're back. And we're back. We do apologize for the technical difficulties happening earlier. But let me reintroduce myself to all you people out there. My name is Steve Forrest, and I am a local here on Kilburn to Kensal Radio, K2K Radio. I'm joined here with a couple friends of mine, Karen and Max. And why don't you get to know these people a little bit? Max, tell them what you do.
Hello, Steve. It's a real pleasure to be here today. So I was saying before, I build radio stations for a living. In fact, this is my first station in London. I'm very excited about it being in my local area. It's Kilburn to Kensal. And we also have another Kilburn to Kensal resident and pioneer here, Karen.
I'm a pioneer now, and I'm here.
And yeah, brilliant.
We want to give a little bit of love to some friends out there. Nat and the crew and my lovely fiancée, Lucy.
I was going to say, congratulations.
Thank you.
Big,
Thank you, yeah.
big congratulations.
Pretty exciting.
So
Pretty
exciting.
stuff. Yeah, I suppose everybody's got that point in their life, but when you hit it, you can't really be prepared for it. So
how does it feel?
It feels good. It feels like I've grown up. I think I've went kicking and screaming, but I kind of got
Mr.
there.
Forrest, we can call you now for the first time.
Mr. Forrest, I suppose. Yes.
Before it was just Little Stevie.
Just Steve.
You're a lucky boy, Steve.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I do like to think so.
Very lucky boy.
Oh, we're lucky to have you as well.
Yeah.
In London. We're very pleased to have you in Kilburn.
It's good to be here, and you know, on my first radio show, I must say, I'm very blessed to have such experienced DJs here with me, such experienced people here with me. As we look for the next record, Max is going to take you through what we do here at the studio.
Don't forget to stay close to your mic, Steve. Otherwise, we'll
keep your mouth on the mic,
exactly.
baby.
This is the stuff that I'd spend my time doing, telling people to get closer to the mic because I teach radio skills.
And I'm here to learn, baby.
And we have the excellent soundtrack from the 60s and 70s.
Too good. What is this? Do you know what this is, Max? Should we ask Steve at a highly inappropriate moment?
He's nearly there. He can tell us in a second.
Here I am. I'm back now. This is the Challengers with Pipeline.
Lovely.
Wow. I never even heard of the Challengers.
Oh, well, they're a great band. 60s, 50s, 60s surf rock band. And, well, this is them with Pipeline. But enough about that for now. I think we're going to get back to the music. Keeping it on the songs about the ladies. Here's Simon and Garfunkel with Cecilia. There goes Bob Dylan, one of my favorite singer-songwriters, I think, of all time. His music has inspired thousands of great songwriters throughout the years. And he himself being inspired so heavily by Woody Guthrie, who my grandfather used to be well into. I didn't get into his music until later, but I could see the similarities. But this is Steve Forrest once again on Kilburn to Kensal Radio. And really a little explanation about my show and what you'll be hearing is me reminding people of why music sounds the way it sounds nowadays. Where did it come from? Why did pop come about? You know, all the music that I think a lot of people may have forgotten about over the years. And I think especially for musicians out there getting inspiration for writing music, I know that in these songs you will find inspiration. These records sound as good as today as they did when they came out. But now I'm going to pick up things a little bit with the Stones. That was the Kinks with You Really Got Me Going. We got Max Power here. He wants to say a little something to people, the listeners of K2K Radio. Max, what do you got to say?
Hey, Steve, thanks for that. I just wanted to say, I mean, I'm loving the tunes. And it reminds me of this artist I only just discovered, this musician who I had no idea about, Rodriguez. Do you know about Rodriguez? Karen?
No, that would be no. Tell me about Rodriguez.
Well, I discovered him through. He was around recording in the 60s and 70s in the US.
Oh, I do know Rodriguez. He's all coming back now. He just gigged in London recently, right?
Oh my god, I missed that.
Yeah.
But he did. He's
like really old now.
He's the subject of the film Searching for Sugar Man.
Okay.
Which is this wonderful documentary about how he recorded in the 60s and 70s with like the guys who ran Motown, and he recorded a whole load of beautiful tracks, but just in the US. He was from Detroit, and he didn't actually nothing happened with it. His career in the US, he pretty much recorded and then it just stopped. And then weirdly enough, in the 60s, somebody from South Africa took a copy of one of his albums back to South Africa, and it spread. And over the course of 20 years, he became like a kind of one of his albums were like the soundtrack of the kind of resistance to the apartheid from like white South Africans primarily, who just found his albums and just absolutely loved them. And he had no idea he was working as a contractor, like doing decoration and demolition in Detroit throughout the 70s, 80s, 90s, and then in the I think late 90s, someone in South Africa, there'd been this rumor that he killed himself on stage, or that he died some other way. And they discovered he was still alive in Detroit, and he had no idea about his fame in South Africa. And finally, some South African journalists convinced him to go over to South Africa and see. And he became an overnight phenomenon. Like he played to sell out crowds and just had an amazing time over there. Steve, you knew about this, right?
I saw that documentary recently. I knew his music vaguely. From, I think my dad had a record when I was younger.
Did you feel it back then? Or?
No, a lot of music that I think my daddy had me listening to when I was younger. I didn't get into it until I was a bit older, but it was just sort of a vague thing. But then I got recommended it on the iTunes. It says recommended.
Okay.
And I was like, I remembered when they released the record, so I listened to it. But it was like a rediscovery. I didn't remember any of the songs or anything. And getting back into both records, Cold Case and I forget what the other one was called, but they're both fantastic.
Oh, I really absolutely love it. It pretty much had me in tears.
Oh, it did. Yes, same. You watch it, and then it's pretty incredible to see him as an old man and just see kind of
and a humble man. What an amazing man he is.
Yeah, it brings the question: what is making it in music? Is it inspiring so many people and never taking a cent for it, and living a very modest life, or is it being extravagant and just wanting to be a celebrity for 15 minutes? Yeah,
right. Well, I recommend it. If you haven't heard it, look for Rodriguez and see the film Searching for Sugar Man. It's cool. It's just lovely.
Yeah, seconded that. But now going back to another great band. Here's one from New Zealand, the Hollies.
Kilburn to Kensal Radio.
What a beautiful song that is. A little tribute there for Mr. Leon Helm, the man you heard singing that song. He was the drummer, the vocalist. He played mandolin, and he also played guitar. Those many multi-talented drummers that we all keep hearing about. This next band here has had their share of trials and tribulations, but they'll be back together rocking you at Glastonbury this year, which I, for one, am very excited about. This is Fleetwood Mac with Dreams. So here we are, coming up to the end of our show. That was Fleetwood Mac with Dreams. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to tonight's program. Even though it's just a pilot, I know that you're tuning in via link, but that's okay. It's good to have you here just the same. Max wants to say something. We're going to have a few words before we end this show.
Steve, well, I just want to say thank you for coming in and for offering to do a show for us. It's very exciting to have you here. I'm looking forward to a lot more from you. What kind of stuff have we got coming up on future shows? Do you know what you might do for us?
Well, I haven't thought that far ahead. I know that there'll be. I reckon I'll do a blues night do just all folk and country night.
Amazing.
Old reggae, ska nights. It'll be somewhat themed. Tonight, I think I just wanted to cover all the bases of the types of music you'll be hearing. But really, it's anything from the 50s to the 80s of just all kind of our favorite songs that maybe we forgot about. I like to think of it as my time vault. Yeah, so.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to listening to it in the car and imagining that I'm actually in the 60s. Or 70s.
Remember to keep your eyes on the road there, Matt.
Well, I will. But the music helps me just sort of imagine that I was back in that era, which I wish I was, you know? Don't you sometimes feel that?
Yeah, I actually do feel like I was there sometimes.
Okay.
I think that's only natural. I think a lot of people think that. My father thought that when he was a kid. He wanted to be back in the old Western days.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, we were lucky enough to grow up with this music. I mean,
I'm so
Steve,
glad.
you played vinyl tonight. That's just such a gift, you know. I think I certainly grew up with Mum playing vinyl on the record player, and that was great as kids. Now it's a whole different generation. So I'm thankful for that too tonight.
I'm just sad that we're sort of in in an era when it's iPads and, surveillance and...
That's another show.
Well, you want to talk about that another show? Let's stay in the 70s.
Yeah, let's go deep.
Well, we're back to 64 at the moment, because unfortunately, whilst we were talking, I didn't have enough time to put on another record from the 70s.
No, well, 60s, 70s, it's all good stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, it should be alright because it's the Moblettes. Thank you. That was the Four Tops with Baby I Need Your Lovin'. Want to come to the end of the show now. I just wanted to give a shout out to our friend Harry and Max and Karen, everyone that's helped me out with this first show. All the things you sort of taught me about what to do, what not to do. I hope I did you proud.
Very proud.
Did I do you proud, Max?
Yeah.
Did I make you happy?
Well, indeed. And with
Did I
those
make you
songs
smile?
as well, I love that. I'm looking forward to listening to those in the car.
Did you learn something new today?
Let me think. Did I learn anything? Karen, did you learn anything?
Karen, did you learn anything new today?
Okay, so like the first track that you open with, Neil Young's band.
Buffalo Springfield.
Yeah, so
For what it's worth. Great tune.
great tune, amazing track to open with. So that was good too. Yeah, I never put him in that band, so that was the first thing I learned from the off.
Well, fantastic. That's my goal out here today, is just to teach a little if I can and to groove a little with those who already know the tunes. Speaking of grooving, we're going to end tonight's show on K2K Radio with Groovin' by the Young Rascals. I do want to thank you all for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.